A 60-year-old pilot breaks Mach 10 to prove humans still beat algorithms. One problem, the ghost of his past is in his classroom, and he might have to send him to die. You're the pilot. At 30,000 feet, code or gut? Your call. Welcome back to Bruce Recaps and Reviews. Today we're diving into Top Gun Maverick, the sequel everyone thought would crash and burn, finally brought to the big screen by director Joseph Kosinski. I went in expecting typical legacy sequel cash grab, but what I got was something far more authentic and surprisingly emotional. Quick heads up, intense aerial combat and heavy father-son drama ahead. Before we start pulling G's together, have you seen this movie yet? Or are you discovering why Tom Cruise risked his neck at 60 for the first time? Drop a comment because I'm genuinely curious. How many of you think practical beats digital? Tom Cruise returns as Pete Mitchell alongside Miles Teller as Rooster, Jennifer Connelly, and fresh-faced pilots who think algorithms are their co-pilots. Director Joseph Kosinski delivered something nobody expected, because this isn't a movie about jets, it's a fight between experience and prediction. In 6 minutes, you'll see why the trench run is mathematically impossible. First, the mistake that put Rooster 4 years behind. If you're new here, hit subscribe. This mission is just beginning. 30 years later, Maverick still treats flight manuals like bathroom reading. He's testing a hypersonic test jet on the chopping block. Instead of following orders, he pushes to Mach 10.2 to prove the program works. An admiral lays it out with zero sugarcoating. Drones are the future. Pilots are dinosaurs. Instead of retirement, Maverick gets shipped back to Top Gun to train the next generation for an impossible mission. Tom Cruise is nearly 60 and pulls real G's in real F-18 Super Hornets. While other action stars hide behind green screens, Cruise signs a waiver and climbs into a cockpit. That's not acting. That's obsession with authenticity. The opening flight sequence sets the tone and the thesis. In 1986, the line was swagger. In 2022, it's survival against systems. The question is simple. Can human instinct beat prediction at speed? And let me pause here to talk about the camera work and cutting. From shot 1, Claudio Miranda's camera picks clarity over chaos. Cockpit rigs keep the horizon and instruments in frame, so your brain tracks lift, roll, and yaw. Cuts land on action beats instead of random impact noise. That's why your stomach flips. The geography is readable. Buckle up, here's where it turns. The color grading shifts from warm hangar tones to cold altitude blues. The temperature shift tells the story without words. Practical wins because your body believes it before your brain processes the visual information. While studios bet on drones and data, Maverick bets on muscle memory. That's the movie. Maverick faces 12 elite graduates. One face freezes him. Bradley Rooster Bradshaw. Miles Teller channels Anthony Edwards so hard that every side profile feels like a memory threat. The resemblance adds eerie destiny. Years earlier, Maverick pulled Rooster's Naval Academy application at his mother's request, setting him back 4 years. Now the student he slowed must trust the man he blames, train him, or send him to die. That's the psychological vice. Rooster isn't just angry. He flies like a man carrying a will. Too careful, too late, too often. Quick roll call of the squadron. Phoenix stays ice calm under pressure. Bob's the quiet targeting brain who sees solutions before anyone else. Hangman's dazzling on his own, right up until teamwork starts keeping score. These training runs strip the swagger. Physics sets the curve. When the jet starts to groan, your ego finally listens. Quick craft check on sound and score. The sound design ticks like a metronome for fear. Intake whine, compressor surge, canopy rattle, pilot breath. You feel the mix building tension even when nobody speaks. The score stitches a little 80s DNA into modern percussion so the pulse is fresh, not retro cosplay. Nostalgia's the spice, not the meal. Here's where the performance craft gets interesting. Miles Teller's body language carries genetic memory. Watch his hand position on the stick. They mirror Anthony Edwards' grip from the original. The casting director understood that DNA runs deeper than dialogue. Silence is the sharpest tool when dealing with inherited trauma. The mission objective is brutal in its simplicity. Destroy an underground uranium facility guarded by next-generation fighters and a forest of surface-to-air missiles. Approach through a razor canyon below radar, pull an over-the-top G-climb, and get out while the sky turns into a hornet nest. Yes, it rhymes with a certain trench run, but this time the physics bite back. The briefings land because they speak constraint. Altitude is detection, speed is margin, G-limits are the bill collector, and if that term's new, think of it as the interest rate your body pays for speed. Now here's why this briefing sequence actually works. John Hamm's Admiral doesn't choose scenery, he chooses math. The dialogue's built from stakes and numbers, not technobabble. Blocking keeps pilots seated, small and silent, while maps and timelines tower over them. You feel tiny against the mission profile. The cinematography deserves a quick spotlight. Geometric framing turns the canyon into a corridor you can measure with your eyes. Tight lenses in the cockpit. Wider exterior passes for orientation. No shaky cheat to fake speed. The camera respects velocity by letting you track the world slipping sideways in real time. Quick craft check on lighting design. Watch how shadows move inside the cockpit during banking maneuvers. Real sun angle changes sell the rotation better than any computer could calculate. The production design adds authentic wear patterns to helmets and flight suits. These details cost money, but buy belief. Quick craft check on Foley and ADR. What you hear in the cockpit isn't random roar. Foley adds the buckle creaks, glove scrapes, helmet taps, and those tiny seat clicks that tell your brain pressure's building. A DR's used with restraint, so radio calls still sound like they're fighting through metal, wind, and stress. That dirty texture keeps the illusion intact. Clean audio would be pretty. This stays honest. Beyond tactics, the film argues for practical craft over software shortcuts. Real planes, real light, real compression on faces under load. You don't need to be told it's real, your body knows. How long would you last in that briefing before asking for a desk job? Maverick's job is to turn aces into a unit that can fly a profile the computer says is inadvisable. He proves it's survivable by flying it himself in a legacy F-18. That's pedagogy by pain tolerance. The character beats unfold under pressure. Rooster must stop flying not to lose. Phoenix must carry scrutiny without letting it warp her judgment. Hangman must learn that lone wolf kills don't complete team objectives. The beach football scene looks like fan service. It's actually a live after-action review, a team reset without the uniforms. Bodies sink, hierarchies flatten, trust builds with no armor weight. When the whistle blows, that trust follows them back into the cockpit. Romance with Jennifer Connelly works because it's mature, two adults shaped by loss, not archetypes fulfilling a template. Her bar is a memory palace for a generation of pilots. When they share space, you feel history, not exposition. Let me talk about the editing rhythm for a second. The edit runs on breath and blink. Hard cuts on throttle pushes, micro holds on eye flicks to the altimeter, wide resets after blackout hints. You're never lost, even as the pilots skirt blackout. That's discipline, your move. If you were training this squad, would you pick the fastest hands or the calmest brain? Strap in. This is the pivot from spectacle to pure craft. Watch the formation flying sequences. Real jets maintain precise distances that computer models struggle to replicate. The wake turbulence affects following aircraft in ways that feel dangerous because they are dangerous. Geometry beats noise every single time. And when it comes to the gear and practical effects versus CGI, here's what matters. Exterior plates capture real light on metal. Cockpit cams hold skin tones under brutal sun and raw G-strain. CGI is glue, not the wall. That restraint is why the third act sells. The climax unfolds in 3 phases, one mistake allowed. First, they thread the canyon at illegal speeds and stay low to dodge radar. SAMS wait like mousetraps. Second, they pop up, lock the target, and drop the payload through an opening barely wider than their wingspan. Miss by inches, and you die by certainty. Third, they try to escape while the entire sky wakes up angry. Next generation interceptors close in. SAM relays start pinging. Fuel margins keep screaming. The sequence works because geometry rules emotion. Altitude is a tax. Speed is a loan. G-limits are the collector. The movie lets you feel those economics in your ribs. Everyone gets their moment. Phoenix proves calm is a weapon. Bob shows why a quiet brain saves loud lives. Hangman earns redemption in a way that serves the team, not his ego. Strap in, this is pure cinema now. The missile evasion sequences use real flare patterns that actual pilots recognize. Each countermeasure deployment follows military doctrine, not Hollywood invention. The radio chatter maintains proper brevity codes even under extreme stress. These details separate combat from carnival. The heart of it all is the Maverick and Rooster payoff. It lands because it resolves guilt and fear without speech-making. Action writes the apology. Choice writes the forgiveness. The victory is personal. Maverick releases debt he's carried for decades. Rooster understands that protection can look like betrayal in the moment and love in hindsight. Val Kilmer as Iceman brings real human weight. The scene works because it honors the man, not just the character. Respect is the text. The final image offers no sequel baiting, no winking promise. Old methods still work when hands know what they're doing. Now let me dive deeper into why this feels different from other blockbusters. The aerial cinematography makes specific choices. Lens selections keep faces readable under helmets and visors. You see eyes, sweat, and mic vibrations. External passes are long enough to track maneuvers. Horizon lines stay consistent, so your brain maps turns and altitude change. The result is trust. You believe the space. The sound design treats engines not as wallpaper, but as story. Intake whine signals risk. Compressor stall hints at pilot error. Missile lock tones slice through percussion like a panic knife. Dialogue sits inside the roar rather than on top of it. You feel the mix more than you hear it. Quick craft check on the location scouting. The Nevada desert provides natural wind patterns that affect aircraft behavior in measurable ways. Ground-to-air communication uses actual military frequencies that pilots would recognize. These choices cost extra but create authenticity that audiences feel even when they can't identify why. Music-wise, legacy motifs appear but never hijack scenes. Modern drums and pulses push tempo without drowning the human soundscape. Nostalgia is seasoning, never the dish. The editing philosophy is what separates this from chaos. Coverage gives options, but the cut resists random impact. Every smash has a reason. Every hold buys comprehension. That's why the third act plays for people who usually hate action. Some will see recruitment add energy and flags in the framing. Others will see a craft showcase that happens to involve the military. Both readings can stand. The film's argument is less about war and more about work. Practice beats prediction when stakes are real. 9 out of 10 fighter jets. Best aerial third act of the last 20 years because it sustains real-time geography, real light, and real G-limits. Watch if you love aviation, father-son drama, or want to see what happens when a blockbuster refuses shortcuts. Skip if you need philosophical digression or don't care that a 60-year-old star risked his neck so you could feel lift and loss. Perfect for anyone who thinks movie magic should still feel physical. Your turn. In that final run, when computers say no and instinct says go, what do you choose? Rate it 1 to 10 and drop one word that nails it. Next week, we hit Mission Impossible Fallout and ask a simple question. Is Tom Cruise immortal or just committed? If this breakdown worked for you, tap like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the danger zone.